Welcome to the Exhausted Grumpy Dungeon Masters. I'm your Exhausted Grumpy Dungeon Master, Chris. Good night.
Oh my god. You are so low energy. You need like testosterone replacement therapy or something.
I don't need replacement anything. I need
He needs a sledgehammer.
a sledgehammer and I need a nap. Listen, man,
Is
we have
four
like
shots of
collectively
espresso in a cup, and you just down it all in one go.
I think each of us have collectively reviewed and read over 2,000 pages of
Ooh.
a project.
No, I haven't. But
no, I say
say
collectively 2,000.
Probably you've read it like 4 or 5 times now.
I'm pretty sure I'm at like 1,000. I'm sure Christian's at like a good 700-800.
Yeah,
Dan, you're at like 200 maybe.
I might have
Jay,
gone
you're
through,
at 3.
Yeah, I've gone through 3 or 4 pages at least.
You lazy bastard.
No, I've probably been through about 100 of them.
Well, Jay's not getting paid. So,
yes.
I mean, and his name's not on said project.
That's not true. My name is, I think.
All of our names are.
As a playtest, perhaps, yes, but not as an editor.
I don't care.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, you review 3 pages, you get in the playtest mention.
Chris can attest that I have actually sent in a number of edits on this thing that we'll talk about some other day. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on. We're the Grumpy Dungeon Masters. I'm Jay, joined with my co-hosts Christopher, Christian, and Dan. Say hi, guys.
Hi. Guys.
Hello there.
Just one day, man. It's my birthday.
I told you the day that will happen.
Not your birthday.
See, Chris, if it was your birthday today, you shouldn't be here, and then Christian could have said it correctly.
That's right.
I'm just gonna not show up one day and then sneak in right at this point and be like, "Yeah, he said it."
I'll have to know for sure that you're unavailable. You'll have to be like, I don't know, on the moon or taking a ride to, I don't know.
Listen, you better at my funeral open that with "Hi guys."
You know what? That I accept. I will do that.
All right, Christian, where can they find us on social media?
You can find the Grumpy Dungeon Masters on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, or whatever other service you use to get your podcast. You can also find our podcast on YouTube. You can also look for us streaming on Twitch TV Tuesday and Thursday nights. We are playing through Baldur's Gate 3 honor mode, and eventually, sometime in 2026, you'll be able to witness the glorious return of Grumpy Dungeon Master Christopher's 5e D&D game, Waterdeep World Worn Dead.
Yeah.
All right,
keep
Chris.
hyping that up so that when you return, it better be a banger.
It better be a banger, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it will be, but I'm going to do my best.
Just like you did this past weekend.
Oh yeah, this past weekend.
I'm setting you up, and you're just ignoring it. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm tired, man. I've been reading pages all day. I just read the word widow like 17 times, thinking it was the word window.
Yep.
And I was like, oh man, why does it say window here? This is weird.
Yet right before we went live on the podcast, you were in here yelling in our ears, birthday, birthday, birthday.
Yes.
Birthday.
Not my birthday. I got contacted. Well, someone reached out to one of our D&D groups on Facebook looking for someone to run a D&D game for their husband's birthday. And I was like, all right, well, this is what I do. I know people. I was able to set up like Dungeon Lord Jay to run a D&D game for a bachelorette party one time. So I got this lady in contact with all the DMs, gave her options. I synced up with all the DMs first. I was like, okay, here are your options. Pick from the plethora, and she went through and reviewed the few that I had given her, and she chose me. So I was able to go out there and run this D&D birthday game for her husband. All new players who hadn't touched the game before, and it was a lot of fun.
For a bachelor party?
No, for a birthday party.
Birthday party.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went out there and I ran basically the starter set. I brought that with me and used that since it had all the, the sheets and whatnot. One thing, the Into the Borderlands.
Okay, the new one. Okay.
Yeah. One thing I didn't know that it had or does is that it has different names for some of the things. Like any ability that a character has says like you could do this for a number of times equal to your proficiency modifier. They call those power points in the starter set. I didn't know that. That was really weird.
I didn't know that.
It was really weird. I was like,
"There's a throwback."
Wow. Let's not call those power points. But
let's call them PowerPoints. Hell yeah.
No, that's bad.
Yeah. That's Rollmaster, baby.
It's proficiency points. That's what it should be.
Or let's just call them PP. Let's do that.
Yeah, PP. Yeah.
We'll call the PP.
So they had PP equal to the PP.
Yeah, I got a lot of PP going on there.
Tons of PP. So I was able to run the game again, and it was a lot of fun. Basically, I started them off with encountering one of the encounters in the book where there's like a destroyed cart and a bunch of skeletons and gray oozes, and they were able to handle that fairly easy. And then they had the opportunity to kind of like go to the keep or search for like what had attacked this thing originally. And they did a lot of investigating. They said they were all new players, but they were doing things I would want players to do,
Sure.
And it was they were thinking things through. They were having a good time. They eventually hunted down the goblins that initially attacked the cart, and they found the goblin cave. And I had them go into the goblin cave and fight some of the goblins. And that's when they were kind of going through there and killing the goblins. They found that there was the copper dragon wormling. Remember I complained about that for a bunch of level 1s killing everybody and TPKing them all?
Yeah, how'd that go?
So anyways.
Did it do that?
No, what had happened was they had randomly found a scroll of fireball earlier in the dungeon, just randomly.
Okay.
And I know that technically you can't read a scroll of fireball at level 3. But I put a very hard DC on it for it to happen because, they randomly got a fireball. I want you to cast this fireball.
What do you mean you technically can't read a scroll of fireball at level 3?
I don't think you can. You have to be of that. You have to have that spell slot at least available. No?
It has to be on your spell list.
It has to be a sorcerer or a wizard, or
they were a wizard,
even an arcane trickster or a eldritch knight can do it. Technically,
hey, something new to me. Well, anyways, I gave him a DC.
Sounds like you inadvertently did it right. If you just gave them a DC to do it, so good on you.
Yay!
Hey, good job, man.
So the DC I set to it was 17 because they were level 3. I don't know if it's the proper DC or not, but I knew it was high.
I think that's actually too high, but good enough.
Well, in any case, the dude rolled a 19 plus his 7, so it was like a 26. So he cast his fireball.
Yeah,
my original intent, though, was then to go into this room, have the goblins there, and the copper dragon wormling, and the birthday cake that they stole from the cart, and they were supposed to celebrate and kill, or either celebrate with the goblins and eat the cake, and the wife had a cake she was going to bring out, and that would have been awesome. So the guy opens the door. I explain, he sees the situation. You see a bunch of goblins in party hats. You see a cake. You see a dragon with a bigger party hat. It says happy birthday on the wall. And he's like, okay, I cast the fireball scroll. And so he blows it up, burns the cake and everything in there to ash. And they're all like, all right, cool, we killed them. What's next? So we kept going. And they eventually got to the keep. And when they're at the keep, the guy who wanted the cake, he's one of the guys in the back of the card wants the cake actually, so that's part of the starter set. He's like, I need the cake for my daughter's birthday, and they're like, well, maybe we can make a cake for this guy. I'm like, okay, perfect, yes, this is my opportunity to get the cake out. And one guy goes, nah, fuck this guy, fuck your kid. No cake for you. And so they insult him and then leave. And so then they try to break into the Lord's manor, which I was able to like stop them from doing.
Yeah, convince them otherwise.
And then they go to the temple where there's a couple having a wedding. And I convinced them to basically help officiate the wedding, and they bring out the wedding cake, and they steal the wedding cake and eat it. And then I had her bring out the cake.
They finally
got the cake. That was the whole goal.
It's Father's Day, and I got my cake.
So,
if they had like not done the wedding thing, I don't know what I would have done. I was running out of options. I was hoping they would go to like the chick with the goat, and like they'd get the goats, and she would give them a cake. Maybe I don't know. I was reaching my DM limit.
For your own understanding for the rules, you can in fact cast a spell off a scroll in D&D 5e 2014 or 2024. DC is just 10 plus the level of the spell. Abilities check.
I thought you still had to be of the level to cast. Like you had to have the spell slot equivalent to it.
If so long as it appears on your spell list. That's why if you look on the Arcane Trickster or Eldritch Knight, it specifically says that they can cast spells that appear on the wizard spell list.
Okay.
They find a spell or a spell on a scroll.
Yeah, I knew it had to be on your spell list. I knew that.
I like the fact that even though you didn't know that was the rule, that because you were running like a one shot here, you were like, I'm giving out this treasure. It's a one shot. I want them to be able to use it. And I think that was a cool thing to do regardless.
Yeah.
Well, the way I handle the treasure.
Decision.
The way I handle the treasure with the starter set is they have a little deck of cards, so I shuffle it a few times, and then I have them cut it at a certain point, and what the card that's left or on the top after I cut it is the card that they get as the magic item. So it just happened to be the fireball.
And honestly, it wouldn't appear in the starter set if you couldn't use it, I would imagine. So.
Well, that's actually true. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that makes sense.
Why would it be there?
Just to ruin DM's days.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this is something you could use if you were higher level.
You're too low level.
You're too low level, noob. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had
typical WotC. That's why they're getting sued.
That's why they're getting sued. But it was a great birthday. The birthday cake, by the way, was the wife had got the wife, or I guess maybe the wife's friends, got some like artistry baker to make the cake, and it was like the Bilbo's house. So it was like a hobbit hole,
hell yeah,
door and everything. Yeah, it was pretty awesome, and they had awesome dogs too. Yeah,
I mean that makes everything better.
Yeah. But it was a great time. I really enjoyed myself. It was the only game I got to run in a little while, since AL is still kind of on hiatus, which I'll probably have to bring back soon.
I mean, if you're not doing it, nobody else is. So.
Well, one guy said he was going to do it, and then he stopped doing it.
Yeah.
No way.
We're still
gonna forever DM, man.
We're still all waiting for Dan to start up his local library D&D game.
Oh, yeah, you need to do that. Like, listen, if the guys at Goodman Games called me out to start, running a game, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
let's move on to our next topic that literally not a single one of us wants to talk about, but because it's new Dungeons and Dragons stuff, we have to at least go over it briefly.
We don't
And we don't have to
be
talk
on,
about
but
it. You know
here we
that, right?
are.
We're already here. We've already got it pulled up. We told everybody last week we were going to talk about it, so we
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was the
have
last.
to.
It
No.
was
All right.
what we left off. you know.
Listen, I still
Listen.
think, unless they call it the Mystic Dagger Stabber or whatever the Chat GPT said it should be called.
No. Listen, pull that list up again. I'm sure it's
No,
still Chat GPT. The
Gentlemen,
Chat GPT
don't
never
pull up that
forgets.
list.
Yeah, I'm
Good.
pulling it up. Hold on.
Let's
Do
get to
it.
when we get to that one. No, the list was terrible.
No,
Okay.
it
The
was
list
great.
was
Definitely
the
better than
best
whatever the
list
hell this
everywhere.
is.
It was still
Yeah.
better than
All
the
right,
name they had for it.
Let's start off. So
Let's start at the beginning.
So Unearthed Arcana 2026. It came out a week and a half ago. Mystic subclasses. So obviously we've got the Eldritch Knight. We've got the Arcane Trickster. They've been part of D&D since 2014. They've been part of D&D obviously
Forever.
since 2000. But obviously we've got to have every class have an arcane subclass for some odd fucking reason. But so let's just lead it right off here with the Warrior of the Mystic Arts, which is the most bland fucking subclass I believe I've ever seen. Correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, but the Warrior of the Mystic Arts is the monk generic sorcerer subclass. And when I say sorcerer subclass, I'm gonna use quotation marks here because when you think sorcerer subclass, you think a charisma based subclass, right?
No.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So the first thing I see here is the spellcasting stat for your sorcerer based subclass is fucking wisdom, which is a
Because
dope
it's
stat to use for monks.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the monks.
'Cause-
I don't understand why monks are using the sorcerer spell list to begin with. This seems like a really weird combination.
Yeah. So it confuses me to no end because, like, in Eldritch Knight, the fighter subclass, in order for them to like have a sweet, selection of spells to cast shield a couple times a day, a fighter has to actually sack some ability score in order to get a decent intelligence. A a monk sacrifices nothing in order to actually have a good wisdom because he's already going to have a good wisdom. A
Mhm.
rogue, by that same token, already may have a decent intelligence, but probably not one of his banger stats unless he's specifically playing an arcane trickster.
Yeah, it's probably going to be one of your higher stats, though. If you're mostly
Maybe a
decked, but it's probably
12?
going to be your. I think it would probably be your second best stat because a lot of your skills, and you are a skill monkey, key off
Yeah,
intelligence.
but still, I mean, one of your best stats for sure as a monk. It doesn't make any sense for it to be based off of, especially when you're calling it a sorcerer based off of the sorcerer spell list. Doesn't make any
Okay.
sense to me.
So my argument for it being wisdom is more of a game mechanics thing. So if you're talking about the fighter only needs 2 stats normally. The only stats that a fighter needs is strength and con. As long as your dex is not absolute trash, but you really only need dex and con. So
Okay.
the rest of your points don't matter so much. A monk needs 3 stats right out of the gate to be pretty good because you need dex, con, and wisdom to actually be effective. So if you're going to dilute that even more and say you have to have charisma, you're effectively creating an unplayable class.
I mean, a first
Here-
edition paladin.
There's the rub. Don't
This
make a
isn't first
fucking
seed.
sorcerer-based monk.
Oh, I agree. Like it shouldn't even be a thing, but if you're gonna build it, I see why they made it wisdom.
I feel
So
like if I was going
instead
to
of
build
making a mystic monk, maybe make a cleric-based monk. Hey,
That
feels like it would have made the most sense.
Yeah, would have made a lot more sense.
Yep,
They
priestly
like
spells would make sense.
like 5e already had a quote sorcerer type monk where you could spend your focus points or key or whatever the hell they call it, where to throw around little fire spells or air things and stuff like that.
And you basically had fire. You had elemental benders, avatar style benders, which is the cooler elemental type monks.
Yeah, and they should have stuck with that. That was fine.
This is just, hey, I'm a monk that can fucking have a higher AC in Misty Step because shield and stuff is cool.
And
Yay.
here's the thing. One of your key things in this thing is at level 6 you get this. You can convert spell slots to focus points. If I'm a monk, I'm only going to need a couple of buff spells, right? I'll probably want Misty Step. I might want, Shield, or Mage Armor or something like that, maybe some of the time. But for the most part, I'm probably not trying to like make things fail saving throws because I have Stunning Fist, and that is way better. And I have other things to spend key points on. All this says is I have a giant battery called my spell slots that I can now just have infinite focus points to continually regain focus points.
Yeah.
And do all my normal monk stuff.
Yep. That's basically how I think everybody would end up playing this thing.
But other than that, like that's the only thing about this monk. It is you get some spells and you can swap back and forth between focus points and spell slots.
Yeah, and once you have multi-attack, you could cast a spell, one of your cantrips, and do an attack. But yeah, it's just kind of a garbage thing. My hope would be that this never sees the light of day, but we know it's going to be in whatever the hell the next book is.
Well, I mean, I'm happy with them trying to do more stuff with the monk, because it seems to be a weakness, so to speak.
So here's the other thing. Like, it doesn't. So Mage Armor doesn't work with unarmored defense. You take the better of the two.
Yeah, true.
So it
shield.
You have shield.
Shield works. So yay! I mean, it's the same reason why you become an Eldritch Knight. So you have you have that bonus defense, which is cool. But yeah, otherwise you have extra focus points.
Yeah, I think for the most part, I'm gonna take shield and Misty Step, and then I'm just gonna be a monk.
This is just literally the most underwhelming version of the monk I've ever seen. This is the most pointless fucking piece of shit monk I've ever seen. And the level 6 ability is I can throw a cantrip in my fighting style.
I mean, I would like to see more of them, like, take the spells that don't require, DCs or something. Like, let's say like shield and magic missile and things like that, and like almost revolve the monk around those spells and give them extra, for that. Like, you think about like Baki Hamna or some of the other animes out there where people are throwing punches like across the screen, like have those be the magic missiles and flavor it that way. But I don't know. It just overall it just seems like a really bad flavor fail.
Yeah, there's probably somebody who worked at WotC who absolutely loved the arcane fighter, whatever the hell that one's called, and it's like, I want to do a monk like that, and then they did, and now we have this garbage.
Yeah, I feel like if you want to do an anime style monk, play an anime style fucking game, like
the one you guys talked about last week.
Yeah,
they had a really cool one that was just too weak at the end of the day. That worked pretty well. I can't remember what that was from 2014, but so they do exist. It's just,
I mean, there's a lot of anime role playing games out there. I don't know any of them because I don't play any of them. But
I think their new Warrior of the Elements though is just like a better, more flavorful version of this. It feels magical because you're tossing around elemental, blast and stuff out of range, and gives you that kind of Avatar flavor. And this is just, it's not like that it's bad or weak. Well, it's boring.
It's boring, and it's just relying on the crutch that D&D 2024 seems to be relying on, and it's just everything is just using low level fucking magic for everything, and it's boring as shit. Like, I don't want a Misty Step. You know what I want to do? I want to leap through the fucking sky like an anime character because I'm a monk. I'd rather leap 100 feet than Misty Step 30. Okay, I'd much rather do that.
But you can cast a jump spell on yourself.
Cool. Or he can just spend a key point and jump.
Yeah. They need to go back and watch all of the old Shaw Brothers Kung Fu movies and then come back and work on this thing.
Or just delete the fucking concept because it's not working. Like this thing shouldn't even exist. Like it's not working.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Oath of the
Oh God.
Spellguard Paladin. Who wants to
Yeah,
talk
the
about this shit?
wizard yoinker.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so all right, I started on the last one, but I have opinions on this one too. So go ahead. Somebody else can go ahead and start on this one.
Go for it, Dan.
All right.
Yeah,
All you.
you're the one with opinions, man. Come on.
I got strong opinions. Okay, so this one is when the quote on this one is protect your allies from villainous magic, protect the innocent from wicked mages, prevent magic from falling into villains' hands, and protect mages who use magic honorably. This one reminds me of the 2014 subclass of Oath of the Watchers, and I feel like I'm confused on why this needs to be a thing. Why not just remake or re-release Oath of Watchers for 2024? Because that one was actually pretty decent. I think that was from Tasha's, it was from Tasha's. And let me just pull that one up. Because I had an Oath of the Watchers Paladin in my Marmot Frostbane game, and he was great. So the spells in that one versus this one. Oath of Spellguard spells for level 3, detect magics in shield, because God, you got to get shield to everybody. Versus Oath of the Watchers with alarm and detect magic. 5th level, see invisibility, silence. 5th level for Oath of the Watchers with moonbeam and see invisibility. 9th level, counterspell, dispel magic for Spellguard. Counterspell and non-detection for Oath of the Watchers. 13th level, freedom of movement, Autolux Resilient Sphere versus Aura of Purity, Banishment for Oath of the Watchers, and Hold Monster and Scrying for Oath of the Watchers versus Circle of Power and Hallow for Spellguard. They're very similar classes, and I don't dislike these at all. These are actually this subclass is actually decent. I just don't understand the need to change it.
It
Money.
feels like a more generic version of the Oath of the Watchers. Like Oath of the Watchers had kind of its own kind of flavor and stuff, and this is just a very watered down generic version.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's see. Level 3 Guardian Bond versus
You can add. You
Watcher's
can use a
Will.
like adding your using your reaction to add a charisma modifier to something's AC. Like this does feel very generic.
Yeah.
R of concentration. You just give your guys advantage to concentrate. Spell breaking blade is something new. Immediately after you hit a creature, mind you, this is a level 15, so you're never going to get it. But immediately after you hit a creature with your spell guard strike, which I don't know what that is, you can cast counterspell as part of the same reaction. When you and it gives you when you cast counterspell with a spell slot, it isn't expended if it doesn't stop a spell.
The Spellguard Strike is their other level 3 ability where if there's somebody within your reach casting a spell that has a verbal, somatic, or material component, you can use a reaction to make an attack against them.
I didn't scroll down far enough. There it is.
Yeah, it's basically you have what is a Spellbreaker or whatever it is, that the feat that allows you to make a reaction attack, like you're in 3rd edition still.
Yeah.
Which is nice, actually.
Like, yeah, like I follow you, Dan. Like this isn't. It's not actually bad. But they already did something so similar to this with 5e.
Yeah, I mean this is really just the remake of Oath of the Watchers, and I really don't feel like they needed to remake it. They just needed to they needed to adapt the version from Tasha's. Tasha's was 90% there. They just needed to make it 2024. That's all they needed to do.
What I'm kind of thinking that maybe somehow in the back end of the design of this, they didn't want to maybe pay or give credit to the original creators of those classes. Maybe there's some kind of, issue with that. So they kind of like, come up with something similar but different. Like, it all sounds like very much like, hey man, you can copy my homework, but make it different. And that's what all these kind of feel like,
It's the Games Workshop strategy where you won't credit your artist because your artist painting stuff is what's actually inventing all of the creatures and things in your world.
Maybe, I
It
mean, that
feels-
might have been true for like earlier editions where like in D&D 1E where like, Gygax and Zeb Cook specifically got credited on the covers for everything. But like since third edition, like, people don't get full credit on anything anymore. Like Wizards of the Coast produced this book. Wizards of the Coast is the author.
Yeah.
If you look deep in the cover, deep in the title block, you might find somebody, a series of names in there. These were produced by so and so, but like, you're not going to
That's just
find out that specifically the spell guard or the Oath of the Watcher's Paladin was made by a certain person.
I
So,
mean,
I don't know.
I agree with you, but like, you got to think too that the people probably in charge of writing all that stuff for fifth edition was probably, Perkins and Crawford, and they may have
Yep.
had some kind of thing that went with them.
Maybe.
Well,
Maybe.
yeah, because Perkins is like, aren't they kind of holdovers from third edition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they might like, what was the original, the current Magic Stealer rogue? What was it in third edition?
Coming to
the-
Max, Spell Thief.
All right, are we ready? Are we ready to go
Oh
there?
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
that one we called the Arcane Burglar.
No,
Yeah,
that was
okay.
Wizard Joinker.
So in third edition, it was the Spell Thief, and that's
Mhm.
basically what it is. So it's possible. Yeah, I don't know that that's the case, but it is possible that Perkins or one of those guys was the one who named it originally.
I'm actually looking in the Complete Adventure right now where that appeared, which was Complete Adventure. It was actually a specific class. It wasn't even a prestige class, or that was a separate class in Complete Adventure. So, but the designer of Complete Adventure was Jesse Decker, who I don't think worked on fifth edition. So I doubt it. I don't know.
I don't know. Something to dig into maybe later.
But yeah, this subclass for Rogue is clearly just riffing on the third edition 3.5 class from the Complete Adventure, Spell Thief. It is basically mimicking all of the abilities of that class,
but somehow being way less cool.
Yeah, really, just. I mean,
Copy my homework, bro.
As bad as that. Yeah, so steal magical power to empower yourself. I mean, at least the byline for the Oath of the Spellguard Paladin is kind of cool. Protect your allies from villainous magic. The Magic Stealer Rogue, the name isn't even cool.
No,
steal magical power to empower yourself. Neat. Okay.
So yeah, let's kind of take a look at some of the abilities. They've got the empowered sneak attack. Whenever you get hit by a spell, you can absorb some of the energy, which then you can sneak attack and do extra force damage. Okay, I mean that's something. But absorb. I hate the word absorb because absorb to me means you're going to take less damage, but it doesn't seem to do that.
No, it does not. It's just when you see somebody near you cast a spell, you can take some of the magic. It doesn't affect the spell at all. You just take a little. You just use your reaction, get a little bonus, and your next sneak attack is amped up a bit, which is okay, but honestly, still kind of boring because it doesn't let you, as a rogue, do anything else that's interesting. You just be like, my one attack that I was going to do anyways is a little more. It does a little more dice.
Yeah,
Cool.
you can do some cool role play effects, but doesn't really add anything. Drain magic. You can drain power from ongoing spells to recharge your allies' magic. As a magic action, you can touch a willing creature and end one ongoing level 1 or level 2 spell on it. The creature immediately recovers one expended spell slot of level 2 or lower. I'm just going to say if I'm playing as a wizard and my rogue comes over and does that to me to make, you lost your mage armor spell, but you get a spell back, I'm going to be pissed.
If I'm there, I'm going to do this to my allies right when they cast a spell that costs a spell slot. So he casts his level 1 mage armor, or they cast that cleric cast Shield of Faith right before it's going to end anyways. I'm going to be like, here, let me do that. I'm going to end it, do your spell slot back so you can cast it again.
Sure, after that 8 hours of mage armor.
For mage
where
armor,
we're
but
about-
like Shield of Faith or something that's much shorter, you're going to do this to like, this is going to
Yeah,
boost
okay.
your allies. Or think about it, even Mirror Image, right? Mirror Image is level 2. It just lasts a minute. All of a sudden, you can, right when that's about to end, you can just absorb it, end it,
Yeah, but
and then you
this
can
is
give your
also one of
wizard
those
the ability to
things
cast Mirror
where
Image
you
again.
could drain the spell. Like if somebody is hit with something that is, a level 2 or level 1 harmful spell on somebody, right? You could end some spell that's affecting somebody and then restore
Sure.
a spell that's
Yeah, okay.
helpful.
Yeah, isn't hold
So,
person second level? I think?
it's the whole person second level, yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be useful, but it's also a once
Meh.
per short rest feature.
Yeah.
And that seems very, like I think the daily use of it is going to be what Christian just said, like restoring like the mirror image on the wizard. Yay.
Yep.
Okay. Neat.
Magical sabotage at level 9.
So
Yeah.
these
You gain.
enhance your cunning strike.
Yep. So you gain the following cunning strike options: spell susceptibility, which costs 2d6 to do it. The target has disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes against a spell until the start of your next turn. It's been a while since I've looked at the 5.5 stuff. Don't you have to hit them with a sneak attack to do these?
Yes.
Okay.
You hit them
And
with the
then-
sneak attack, and you sacrifice some of the damage dice in order
Yeah.
to add on this effect.
Okay, disrupt spell costs 3d6. The target's magical acuity is disrupted until the start of your next turn. Whenever the target casts a spell during that time, it must succeed on an intelligence saving throw. It dissipates with no effect, and the action, bonus action, or reaction used to cast it is wasted. That's going to be really, really good against clerics and bards and sorcerers. Things that don't use intelligence.
Yeah, and trash against wizards.
Yeah, it's going to suck against wizards. I'd have to look. I think clerics probably do get or intelligence. I don't know. But yeah, whichever ones don't use that as a base saving throw are gonna get fucked by it. And steel resistance costs 2d6. Choose one kind of damage. If the target has resistance to that kind of damage until the start of your next turn, the target loses that resistance and you gain resistance to that damage type. I don't actually hate these. Like, I'm not generally a huge fan of the cunning strike thing, but it is more options. So,
Yeah, these are
Like
okay.
the idea of stabbing people and having other effects go off. The new rogue thing that they have, I really like that. So I like that aspect of this class.
you-
Just I don't know. Everything
Yeah.
else seems kind of weak.
Yeah.
You mean the
It's-
thing they just stole from Pathfinder in 3.5? That
well,
rogue
yeah.
set.
Well, a lot of the people writing for 5.5 are from Paizo. So,
Yeah.
That's true.
Level 13, you get two things. You get Occult Shroud. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can cast non-detection spell. You can only target yourself, and the duration is 24 hours. So basically, you can just always be under a non-detection if you want to be.
Yeah.
I love that spell.
It's
Is
super
it-
useful by the time you're level
Yeah,
13, I guess.
Right. Yeah. I for like taking up that entire level 13 slot, just being able to do non-detection seems really fucking weak.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not the only thing you get at 13. You also get improved Drain Magic. Your already existing Drain Magic feature is slightly better. Now, when
Mm.
you absorb, you can use it as a bonus action, so it's not your action. And when you absorb it at the end of the spell, it can be a level 1, 2, or 3 spell, and you can restore a level 1, 2, or 3
Ooh.
slot
Huzzah.
at 13th level.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Alright.
And then level 17, Eldritch Implosion. When you use Empower Sneak Attack, you can force the target Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the spell dissipates with no effect, and the target has the stunned condition until the start of its next turn. Yeah, I don't really hate this. I just think it's mostly my biggest problem is the name. The name is really, really bad. Fix it.
The name is bad. I don't hate the class. I do wish I don't like the drain magic and that you're restoring it to itself. A cooler thing, which is more reminiscent of what the old spell thief used to do, would be for you to be able to. Your goal is to target creatures that cast spells, hit them,
Mhm.
and steal a spell or some of their magic for themselves. So, like, if you hit a creature, you would just say, "Hey, I get a random spell that creature can cast of like level 1 or 2, and now I can cast that spell once."
Yeah.
That's a spell thief, and that'd be way more interesting as a rogue, because then you're going to be looking for those spellcasters. You see a creature
Well,
or
here's
a
the thing
humanoid or
about that
something.
in D&D 2024. Creatures don't cast spells anymore, Christian. They just like
Yeah.
sling arcane bolts and bullshit now,
Yeah.
right?
Some of them still do have spells too, because they still actually do cast spells for all the utility and defensive kind of spells. Yeah, a lot of their attack stuff has been replaced with whatever, but you do still see a lot of like things have like shield or see invisibility or detect magic or other all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Name the
Name
last
one.
one.
Name one class that does that now. One
Archmage.
monster. No,
Archmage. That's
no,
it.
it still casts a bunch of. It's got that arcane stab.
Yeah, they definitely still have like arcane blast or whatever the fuck.
All right. The last one, Vestige Patron Warlock. I have not read over this one, so somebody else cover it.
This one's called
I
the
have,
second-hand
and I
sorcerer.
will.
It's called what,
I
Chris?
The second-hand sorcerer.
Okay.
I really
Mediocre.
dislike this one. So I'll read
And
over it. Okay, the
the best
tag
part is
is
too is that the fact that you were so disheartened by all this, and you're usually the guy that's kind of like, oh, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. You're just so beaten down. It's great.
the lack of creativity in these is, and I recognize Vestige. This is another throwback to an older edition, and that's what I'm going to talk about with this, and that's one of the reasons I'm so disappointed in this. So the little tag description is wield the remnants of a dying god's power. Sounds cool.
That's a cool
That-
ass tagline.
cool. This is what I'm knowing. This is the one that actually has flavor and character to it. Sounds awesome. You're a warlock, and instead of making a deal with a big thing, you're like leeching off of a dead god. Cool concept.
Your pact draws on the power of a dying god, a being once worshipped by countless followers, but now abandoned and forgotten. Yeah, that's fucking cool.
That sounds cool. It's appropriately edgelord for everyone that loves their warlocks. I love my warlocks. But the problem with is all the stuff, all the features in this. This is a pet class. This is the Beastmaster Ranger as a warlock.
Oh no.
No.
And that's literally all it does. You summon
No.
at level 3, your ability is Vestige Companion. You summon a little vestige that is either, and it has the stat blocks of like the new kind of summon spells. It's either a celestial, a fiend, or an undead. And it's, all of its stats are based off of yours. AC is 13 plus your charisma modifier. Its hit points is 4 plus 4 times your warlock level. And then depending on which one you choose, whether celestial, fiend, or undead, it has slightly different abilities that it can use. But that's your thing. You summon a pet, and everything out from here on out is increasing the way that you function with your pet.
And
You
you get
more.
you get cleric spells apparently.
That is kind of cool. That's the one thing I like is instead of the normal warlocks, the warlocks normally get a spell list of their warlock spells. Here they just choose a cleric domain, and that serves as their warlock spell list, their warlock specialty spell list for their subclass. That is cool. The rest of this subclass is a Beastmaster Ranger.
I don't like that they only give you access to 4 possible domains: life, light, trickery, or war.
Yeah, I don't
Because
love
that's all
that. I
there
think you could
is
just
currently.
yeah, and that might be the reason for that. I
No,
think
that's
it should
I
just
forgot
say
they did that. Yeah, shit. Alright.
they should, but even so, because they know they're going to expand it, what you should just say is choose a cleric domain.
Yeah, that would have been
Because that
smarter.
way, no matter how much they expand and add new ones, like when you play this, you always get to choose whatever cleric domain for your spells. But yeah, the rest of this level 6 is Vestige Recovery. Your companion now regains its divine power, which is one of its ability things it can use once a day. When you finish a short rest or when you use your magical cunning. Level 10, your Vestige companion increases in magical strength. As a magic action, you can cause it to manifest an aura. Aura lasts a number of hours equal to your charisma fighter or till the vestige disappears, and you, the vestige, and your allies get resistance to fire, necrotic, and radiant damage and have
So
immunity to charmed and frightened.
You know what this sounds like to me? And I don't know offhand if this is actually a class in 2014 5th edition, but this sounds like that Shadow Sorcerer from BG3.
No, it's not. The
Well,
BG3 Shadow Sorcerer operates very differently from the actual
I know, but
Shadow
that's
Sorcerer.
it just made the sorcerer pet class, and this is the secondhand sorcerer, so.
And then the level 1 at level 14 is Semblance of Life. Your vestige companion continues to grow in strength with your assistance. It can briefly adopt a more powerful form, meaning you can expend a spell slot without need for it, and you could essentially cast Summon Celestial, Summon Fiend, or Summon Undead, but your vestige becomes the thing, and you replace its stats with the stats from that creature's stat block. The spell level is half your warlock level, so you just temporarily boost your pet again.
Oh,
This is
okay.
all pet.
Okay, so 5e, all summoning, you just go to the monster manual, you'd figure out what you're summoning and use those stats. 5.5 comes around, they do everything in their fucking power to make sure you just always have the stats here. I think technically it was at the tail end of 5e they started doing that.
Yeah.
And then here
We
they're making
initially
a new
liked,
one.
for
Here
what
they're
it's worth.
making, here they're just making another one where you go back to doing it exactly like it was in 5th edition. Where you,
No. The summon spells that it lists are those same ones that the new style summons that just give you the stat block of the celestial, the fiend, or the undead.
oh,
Just
okay.
you get to choose from any of them,
Yeah, but
and you get
okay.
it at a
Yeah,
slightly higher level.
you're having to pull it from another book, but okay.
They're in the core book, so you're pulling it from the PHP.
Yeah.
But my complaint with this is, so there used to be in older editions, they introduced a vestige class, and the vestige it was this whole class that you slowly made packs and discovered through forgotten lore, and it was a very warlocky kind of thing. But you would make small deals with these remnants of dying and dead gods in order to hopefully, their obvious hope is that they get an agent in the world and they get to reclaim a little bit of their power. And you are using these forgotten and dead things for, powers. And they were all weird, and they had like a whole list of all these individual vestiges, and they were all did weird things and had like their little stories. And this is literally just a Beastmaster. This is just the Beastmaster with a cleric domain.
Yeah.
It's so boring.
We've bitched about it so many times on here, and we're going to continue to do it with 5e because they've boringed everything in all these new subclasses that come out. There's not creativity. Like, I love the idea of what you were just talking about from 3rd edition vestiges, like the vestige warlock or whatever. That's cool. And this is you play a vestige warlock, and they're all going to look exactly the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the old one was neat because they listed a ton of different vestiges out there, way more than you could ever get even if you made it to 20th level. You were never going to be able to deal with all of them. They made sure that there was plenty of them out there so that you were actually having to make choices. This is just, I summon a thing, and then I command my thing to do things on my turn.
Yeah.
And then I continue the Eldritch Blast.
And whether you have
my bonus action to command this thing.
And whether you have Celestial Fiend or Undead, they're still going to have all the same stats. They get a different bonus. Their divine power is different, but that's it. Everything is exactly the fucking same.
Yes. They do a different kind of damage depending on which one, and they get their different, once ability cool thing. But other than that, like, it's just a stat block. It is a pet class that you command and you run around with your little pet. And I don't know, just like it started out, I was actually excited when I saw the vestige at first. I was like, oh, cool. That was one of the things I loved in 3.5. I loved the idea of the vestige thing. And then it was this, and I'm very disappointed.
Like every single UA that we go over, we continue to be disappointed.
And yet I still buy and shill all their products.
You do.
You do.
Yeah, you do.
The rest of us do not.
Yep.
No.
I want to get that WotC money one day.
Yeah, I bought the 5.5 player's handbook, and well, that was it. Haven't bought anything since. All right, let's move on to another interesting Wizards of the Coast topic. Dan's already giggling. So apparently they are getting sued. And I'm going to read from IGN.com because there's a lot kind of going on in this lawsuit. So, as noted in the lawsuit, Wizards released. Now, we are talking about Magic the Gathering, but this all kind of ties into how WotC and Hasbro operate. As noted in the lawsuit, Wizards of the Coast released more sets than ever before in 2020, which served to double the revenue of the Wizards segment of Hasbro between 2018 and 2021. And in 2022, Hasbro released over 5 times as many Magic sets as it had in 2016. It's worth noting that both the chart above and the lawsuit itself are somewhat generous in what they consider to be a Magic set. Regardless of how you count them, it is true that the card release volume has gone up lately, as anyone who's grouchy about the number of Universes Beyond collaborations in 2026 will tell you. But the issue the shareholders have is that the volume they claim is exceeding consumer demand, and that Hasbro leadership is only releasing this many to get quick cash to cover up shortfalls elsewhere in the Hasbro business. The lawsuit itself is 76 pages long, but there are 2 major accusations that stand out. One is an allegation that Hasbro management used something called the parachute strategy. Allegedly, leadership plotted to parachute in new Magic sets whenever there was a shortfall somewhere else in Hasbro. These parachute sets initially consisted of Masters sets, largely reprints with low production costs. However, as it grew, more sets got involved, including the aforementioned Secret Lair collaborations and the Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate set. Per the lawsuit, as such, the explosive growth in the Magic business noted just prior to and during the relevant period was in fact the result of the parachute strategy. Notably, in 2022, such parachute Magic sets accounted for 46% of all Magic releases. The second, and perhaps even spicier accusation, is the allegation that Hasbro management essentially faked being out of stock of the controversial expensive Magic 30th anniversary set in order to encourage demand. I remember when this happened. If you're not familiar, this was an unhinged $999 box that contained 4 booster packs of non-tournament legal reprints of original Magic cards. Some of which
that's why I have to interject here. I vividly recall this being announced because there wasn't a price tag along with it. Because I was thinking whenever they announced it, because I saw the reprints and I was like, holy shit, I could actually get a Black Lotus as a full-grown adult man that has money to spend. I could even spend like a couple $100 on this and actually finally have one of these to put in my collection, throw up on a wall in frame. And then they announced it and it's like $999. I'm like, you fucking pieces of shit. And it's like, I'm not doing that. You fucking asshats.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
All right. So some of which Wizards had sworn it would never reprint. This box garnered massive criticism due to its price, the fact that the cards weren't even usable, and the seemingly broken promise on the part of Wizards not to reprint classics such as, say, Black Lotus.
There you go.
According to testimony from several members of leadership shared in the complaint, following the negative reaction from players at this announcement, management made a plan to pause sales of the set if it became apparent that they were weaker than anticipated. The company said the sale had concluded and the product is currently unavailable for purchase, implying that they had sold out, effectively making it look like the product was far more popular than it actually had been. In the lawsuit, Plaintiffs accused the company of claiming the product was out of stock. What happened to the unsold cards after sales were paused then? The lawsuit goes on. Former employee number 6 likewise stated that the company paused its sales of the Magic Anniversary set less than an hour after its release, only selling a portion of its available inventory. He then further noted that shortly after the set's release, he and other Wizards employees viewed photographs of Magic Anniversary sets dropped at a Texas landfill alongside older Magic products. So that's I'm not going to read the rest of it. That's the big deal. Like,
Yeah, and even those older Magic products, if I remember right, were like really expensive products.
You know what?
Shocking.
I recall around that time, people posting photographs of product that they claimed they had found in a landfill. Like, hey, is this fucking worth anything? And people are like, oh, that's bullshit. That there's no way you found something like that. And like photos disappearing off the internet and like 2022, 2023, something like that.
yeah,
This
yeah,
happened.
it would have been 2022.
Yeah.
I remember.
So-
I remember that exact thing too, where people were
Yeah.
talking about finding this in a landfill.
I don't recall like the anniversary sets being at a landfill, but I recall like somebody claiming they found some sort of special, some very expensive boxes at a landfill, and people would be like, "No fucking way!" God.
In February 2023, a Reddit user discovered approximately 6 pallets of discarded sealed Magic the Gathering cards at a Texas landfill, estimated to be worth between $100,000 to $250,000.
Holy shit!
It included Modern Horizons 2, which Modern Horizons was fucking expensive, Secret Lair sets, and Unfinity products.
God.
So there you go.
Unfinity sold well. The Secret Lairs always sell well, except for I guess those. And they're just chucking them. It's hilarious.
All to fiddle with the numbers.
And you know what too? You know what too is I think we all liked 2013, right? All right. And 2024, we all thought that was a big mistake. Like you're messing with things you don't need to mess with. And I remember the 2024 books, they claimed that they were the best, fastest selling book that they've had. I bet you there's a landfill with a bunch of 2024 player handbooks out there.
No way.
Not likely.
I mean, it's not like they just threw away a bunch of Magic.
No way, man. They're all in an ollie somewhere. You know that.
Okay, so one of the other things, and it wasn't covered in this IGN article, but I read it somewhere else about part of this lawsuit. So one of the things that Hasbro and WotC was doing is that they would count they would count solds for what they sold to their distributors, not what actually sold on the open market. So that's how you get inflated numbers. That's the reason that everybody thinks Magic was doing so well when you either could not get the product because they just underprinted it, and if it was overprinted, it was just sitting on a shelf somewhere, nobody buying it. But it just counted as sold because they just sold the boxes to the distributors. Same thing went. I guarantee you, same thing went for the 5.5 books.
Yeah.
Like, I know back in 2022 there was a big push for some of the stockholders to break WotC away from the Hasbro umbrella. And Hasbro's been fighting it tooth and nail because essentially they can't survive without Magic the Gathering. Not just D&D. I mean, that's not making that much money, unfortunately, overall. But they can't get rid of Magic the Gathering. And I doubt WotC's going to sell, Dungeons & Dragons to anybody.
Yeah,
but that'd be hilarious if they did.
The simple truth is Magic, I'm sure it's making good money, but it's less than they thought it was, than they've been telling people.
Yeah.
So.
Just like this is what we like to do. This is our hobby. We enjoy the games. The games are good. We want to share it with people. I ran this weekend for a bunch of new players, and I'm fairly certain that they'll continue playing D&D because they had a great time, you know. But when this shit just permeates the news cycle, that they're lying about their numbers and shit, you know, that just makes you not want to do it, and people are just going to go to other games like Daggerheart or
Like all three of us, except for you, Chris.
Yep.
well, I'm a WotC shill. Yuck,
Yes,
yuck.
you are. I mean, we get it. You know, D&D is a good game. Fifth edition is a good game. Yeah. But, you know, a lot of what they do is just not good as a company. That's the nature of things. All right. Do we want to do the thing I talked about? Wrap this thing up about
why
the
not?
sure, why
The
not? It won't
hokey
take.
pokey, and we
Yes,
turn
yes,
ourselves
the hokey
around.
pokey. All right,
That's what it's
so
all about.
that's absolutely what it's all about.
Yeah.
But
100%.
yeah. So I was watching a video of somebody listing their top 10 favorite tabletop role-playing games of all time. Obviously, these are going to be very personalized. We're not going to do the top 10. We'll just do top 5 because top 10 would probably take too long. And so I had to sort of think about what's going to how do you determine what's a favorite RPG? Are we talking about a system or are we talking about a setting? I think we just kind of go off of our own gut. A system is fine if you like that system. A setting is fine if you really like that setting. Just whatever you want to do because we're going to have a little fun with it. So I'll start us off since I'm the one who brought up this stupid ass topic in the first place.
Stupid ass topic.
It is a stupid ass topic.
Just to point out before we start out for the rest of us, with no notice to the rest of us, so we've had very little time. We've
Zero
had
time to
duration
think.
of this. The
And we weren't
duration
even
of
gonna
this
talk
podcast
about it.
to consider it.
Chris, you've played 2 games, maybe 3 ever, so yours will be really easy.
Yeah, Chris will be like, "Oh, 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons."
All right, Jay.
I wouldn't say that, but
Yeah,
yeah,
you fucking would.
Yeah, let Jay start us off. We'll get to it when Chris gets to his.
Yeah. Okay, and
Wait, how many do I got to think of? Top 5?
Just 5, man. Just 5.
Tabletop?
You've played 5 games in total. It'll be pretty easy.
I've never played a tabletop game in my entire life, man.
All right. So for me at number 5, I'm going to put Earth Dawn at number 5. And the funny thing is, I have never played Earth Dawn. I own several of the books. I have always loved the setting ever since the 90s. I've read the novels. It is a cool fucking setting that I've always wanted a chance to partake in. And at some point I will. I'll either run it or play a game. Moving on, for number 4, Dungeons and Dragons Red Box Basic Edition.
Red Box?
Red Box.
Red Box.
I heard Red Box. I mean,
Red Box.
We all heard Red Box here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, D&D Red Box Edition.
Listen, I know you're from Alabama.
I do,
you like your
I
chickens,
love
but
yeah,
Johann Sebastian Red
right,
Box.
not the Mozart edition, the Bach edition.
No, we don't roll with Mozart here.
For me, it's a nostalgia thing. That's the edition I started with, so that's the one I love.
Sure.
Next one, Shadowrun. In my case, first edition or second edition. I know Christian has lauded third and fourth very much, but I've never played them. But Shadowrun, great setting. A little bit can be said about the system, but the setting's great. Yeah. For my fourth one, number 2 for me is Dark Sun, because Dark Sun. Shouldn't have to say anymore. Second edition only. Fourth edition wasn't a real thing. And my number 1 for me, and it's not even a surprise, Dungeon Crawl Classics, because I love that game. And I play it all the damn time. Quick shout out to Riffs also. I love the setting. I love that setting. All right. So who wants to go next? Don't all speak up at the same time.
Not me, obviously. You want me last, like a
schmuck. We'll let you go last.
So are we ordering these by setting? Because you started off with like
It can be whatever you want, man.
both a
System
game
or
system
setting.
and settings. So
It can be either or. Like if you don't say if you just wanted to say second edition Dungeons and Dragons, no setting involved, that's fine. So, and
Okay.
it doesn't even have to be in order. I just wanted to throw them in order because I could. So I guess Christian, do you want to go? I think Dan's still sort of going over in his head all the
I'm
games he
going in my
owns.
order here. Yeah.
All right.
Man,
Yeah,
you
I'll
gave us
wing
so
it.
much time to think about it, man.
I
Yeah,
told you guys
I'm gonna
that
wing it here.
I gave you an hour.
I'm gonna go in no particular order because I definitely haven't had enough time to order this around. But I will throw out some. So I'll still count it down, but it's not really in an order of favor or preference or
Word.
whatever. It's just the order I'm going in. So number 5, I will echo Shadowrun. That is a system I have played. It's a system I have run for multiple editions, and I love the setting. I make the rules work, and it's always a good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, make the rules work. That's definitely a thing about Shadowrun.
It is, yeah. For number 4, I will do second edition D&D. It is not where I started with it, but it is the edition I started running D&D in when I took up the mantle of being a game master and running games because there was no one else to do it after a time, and so I took it upon myself, and that was the edition that I could easily find and get stuff for. So that's what I bought the books for and started running myself.
Yep.
Have a lot
I
of
love it.
fond memories of second edition.
Me too.
Number 3, but not third in my heart. I'm going to specifically point out the setting of Planescape. This is my favorite campaign setting from any role-playing game or publisher to date so far. I love Planescape.
I do too.
Uh,
And I can't wait to play. I can't wait to play until next Friday, even though it's different system.
Different system, but still the same setting. Still plenty of weirdness. Yeah. Number 2, I will put out there as Shadow Dark. That is probably my current favorite D20 fantasy RPG. Is what I'm running my game in, and it's really gotten back to the kind of feeling I used to have when I was running and playing first and second edition D&D, and I'm having a blast every time I play it. I'm having a blast running it. I was dreading running my Planescape game in 5th edition as I was trying to work through things, work with the whatever came out for 5th edition for Planescape. And I was not looking forward to that until finally I was like, guys, can I run this in Shadow Dark? And as soon as everyone was on board, I felt a wave of relief, and I've been having a blast running it. I look forward to prepping my game and building stuff for it every time now. So Shadow Dark high on the list.
Yeah.
And number 1, man, I forgot what I was gonna which one I was gonna pull. So
No, just name another one you like. It doesn't have to be number 1.
Yeah, we
No,
had so much time to
no.
prepare, man. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know.
I gave you
Number
an
1, I'm gonna
hour.
put out
Like,
there. Yeah, like I said, this is not the preference, but I'm gonna put it out there as Pirate Borg and other various Borg games.
oh yeah.
This is another fun system. I kind of bounced off the initial Morkborg game when I first saw it, but Pirate Borg, Cyborg, and some of these other Borgs have been a blast to play. They're really great to play at conventions. When you can get in there, you can build your own character super fast, and you can kind of go in there and have a zany good time. So they're a lot of fun. They're easy to set up, easy to play. I'm having a good time with Borgs.
I did have a hell of a good time playing Pirate Borg at GaryCon last year.
Yeah.
Like, it was fun. Great system.
All right, that's my no notice top 5-ish.
All right, Dan, you had enough time to look at all the games you own?
Yeah, I mean, sort of. I mean, I'm not down in my basement where all my actual books are, but I have gone through looking at my PDFs and stuff. Yeah. I'm gonna go the other way than you guys did for starters. Number 5, I'm gonna go with Star Wars Saga Edition.
Ooh,
Had a
Yeah.
great time playing Saga Edition back in the early 2000s. Bunch of different eras that we got to play through: Rebellion era, Old Republic. It was by far the best version of Star Wars I ever got to play in. Uh, the Fantasy Flight version's fine and all, but I can't get over the whole proprietary dice thing. And the whole I spawn I happen to know this fucking guy over here thing, and I don't really like that. It just
I I
it grates on me.
I have never seen this edition before.
Yeah, you
Saga
haven't talked
Edition
about it all the goddamn time.
or the
I've
Fantasy Flight one.
the saga.
Oh,
Like I've
Oh,
Saga
Saga.
Edition's fantastic. Look it up.
Yeah,
It's the Wizard of the Coast version. It's
really?
basically
Okay.
D&D 3.5,
Yeah.
but rather than just hit points, they have what is it called, Christian? It's been
You
so
have
long.
like wound points
Yeah, you have
and
wound points and
tough-
stuff. It it
toughness or
look at it.
something.
It's been a
You have the
long damn time since I've played it, but
you have
Yeah,
the
I'll have
it's
to.
equivalent to
memorable.
hit points, which are kind of your things where it's okay if it gets to, but if you start losing wounds, you're in for a bad time. It is a bad news
Okay.
bear when you take wound damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look more into that. I've never actually seen that edition.
Yeah, if you can find any of those books in thrift store or anything like that,
Yeah,
worth picking up. They had the best edition of Star Wars
yeah.
ever played.
Kind of
Shout
pricey on
out to the
eBay.
West End D6 system too. That was also fun.
I mean that had the best lore for sure, but the art in Saga Edition
Mhm.
and the mechanics in Saga Edition were fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
and I for fourth, I'll say second edition D&D. I had a great time when I was a kid. That was my introduction to RPGs. I grew up on the gold box edition D&D, which was really first edition, but first tabletop was in second edition, which is Forgotten Realms and Greyhawk. Um, the next one I'm going to say is the next tabletop game that I played was actually Rifts.
Hell yeah.
Which I had a great time because there was magic, there was mecha, there were vampires, there were all kinds of shit that shouldn't have worked together but totally fucking did, and the art was fucking fantastic.
The art is some of
And
the
if
best art. Yeah,
it's still so
it,
good. And
it's phenomenal.
I've actually just recently, when just going through uh thrifting a bunch of old RPG books, have found that you can pick up a bunch of old Rifts books for like $5 each, and just it's worth it just for me for the nostalgia, just looking through the old Kevin Ciambata and Kevin Long art. Um, and they did a bunch of great old Robotech books, which were just absolutely beautiful. Um, and I had a great time playing it. A lot of my high school years were spent in playing a lot of Rifts. The system itself is quite frankly dog shit, completely imbalanced, and each book was jokingly just the bigger gun book. No matter what it was, each book had a different bigger gun or bigger mecha that was going to blow whatever was in the previous Splat book out of the water. Um, and every system suffers from that, or else why would you buy the next book? But Rifts was actually just the worst of them all.
That reminds me,
Um,
I was gonna pick for my number one.
what Rifts?
No, fuck riffs. I hate riffs. BattleTech.
There you
Oh,
go.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
BattleTech, the TTRPG, not the like
Oh,
war
nice.
game version. The
hmm
TTRPG, which was basically the war game plus a slapped on RPG system. It was fun. All right,
Okay.
continue.
Um, the other one is going to be a kind of combo tie here. So I first started playing uh, a system by White Wolf called Ars Magica before they sold it off and started really making big money on Vampire. Um, so my first introduction to World of Darkness and the Tremere and everything was was Ars Magica, where you got to play a wizard that was in historical Europe, studying spells and spellcasting and doing all kinds of weird shit and controlling everything behind the scenes and having conclaves and basically controlling the world behind the scenes, and sending off your companions and familiars off on adventures and stuff. And that eventually the writers of that system eventually went on to write all the other White Wolf games, Wraith and Vampire and Werewolf. So it's sort of a kind of a tie between all the different World of Darkness systems, which, again, I hate at this point in my life, all D10 based systems, big, massive dice pools. Shadowrun kind of falls into this too. I don't need a 20d6 or 15d10s to roll in order to figure out whether my character succeeded or not. But the story for World of Darkness typically was always quite good.
Yep.
Vampire in particular, Werewolf not quite as good, Wraith less so. Dark Ages was probably my favorite of the systems. Ars Magica was particularly good, but always had a great time playing those games. And the number one for mine, if those that know me probably will realize it before I ever say it, Rollmaster Second Edition. Just because I love critical hits, and it's just, I don't know, nostalgia factor most likely. It's basically AD&D Second Edition for geeks and people who wanted to have a skill for goddamn everything. But I had a lot of fun playing that when I was in middle school, so
Yep.
it was a good time.
Nostalgia has a lot to do with top list for sure.
I mean, I played in middle school, played a lot of it in high school, and a little bit in college. But
All right, Chris, get your 3 out of the way.
All right. Since I had exactly 8.5 minutes to write this list down, I'm just going to list every tabletop role-playing game that I've played. I define these as a game where I've sat down, taken the role of a character with at least 4 people at the table, and proceeded to play a game.
Okay.
All right. So, top of the list, Forgotten Realms 5th Edition. Love it. I like 5th Edition a lot. I like 2014 more than I like 2024, but I like 2024 all the same. I just hate weapon mastery so far. That's been the sleep spell. The weapon masteries and the sleep spell were my biggest complaints about 2024 Magic. Or 2024 Dungeons and Dragons. The second game on the list is, I would say, my second favorite tabletop game that I've played, and I played a full campaign of this, would be the Fantasy Flight Star Wars game. I don't like proprietary dice, but I like what they did with their proprietary dice, and I like how you set up that narrative story with the dice, and you told the story through the dice rolls. I really like that. That fits with my style as a DM, where the dice and the randomness of the game feed the story. So that system works well for me. I bought another book I was missing from that set just a month ago, so I'd play that again in a heartbeat. I also played a full campaign of Star Wars 5th Edition, Star Wars SW5E.
Yep.
I enjoy that game and all the craziness that is surrounding it, and I enjoyed it a lot. I also played 1st Edition with Heidi Gygax, so that was fun.
Yeah.
I played 3.5 one time, and that was the worst experience I've ever had playing a tabletop game ever. And I will never
this man.
ever play 3.5 again because of it.
It is not Chris's fault. He had a terrible game master for that. He's told me all about it, and
that's fair. That's fair.
It's like episode 6 of our podcast or some shit.
Yeah.
It's been enough time. I probably recant the story next time, but I also in college played a very memorable game of Warhammer 40K with me and my old roommate John Gula, where we painted up these kind of like jungle guardsmen kind of guys, and we were running through dungeons with chain swords and bolters and stuff like that.
Fuck yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. We were going to play that some more, but we never played one game. I remember it fondly. We were actually going to play what's the Rogue Trader one time, and I had a whole character set up for that, but we never got a chance to play that, unfortunately. The next tabletop role playing game that I've played, and I'm saying this one just to spite Jay, Magic the Gathering Commander, because that's where you sit down, you take on the role of your commander, and you play the game with 4 other people.
Get out of here!
Just a bag of them.
Shadow Dark, that was a lot of fun. I've played Pirate Bork. I hated it because Jay ate my face.
Yep, it was so good.
I mean, yeah, it was very tasty face.
Very tasty face. I remember the this is kind of stretching it, but I still think it counts. I'm not going to count Dark Tower because that's a board game, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But I'm going to count Dragon Strike because it was a role-playing game. You had to pick your character and you had to move through. It was the same as playing like Hero Quest, which I would consider.
I feel like you're way above 5 at this point.
Well, I'm just listing them all, motherfucker.
He only has maybe a dozen he's ever played.
And the last is Call of Cthulhu. I played Call of Cthulhu through a campaign until I pissed off the lore master, whatever they call DMs in that game, and made him end the campaign.
Ow.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. I love that to this day.
We need to play some Call of Cthulhu at Gary Con. That could be fun.
Oh yeah, I'd love it. I'm gonna fall on a rock and die. But that's every tabletop role-playing game that I have played.
You missed one. You did play some DCC at Gary Con. Some Dungeon Crawl Classics. Yeah, we played a game of Dungeon Crawl Classics. It wasn't very good. We all kind of
tried to expunge it from our memory, but
yeah.
We played it. Did we play Gauntlet or some shit?
No,
it was a funnel.
Oh yeah, funnel. Yeah.
It was a funnel.
See, I don't remember that.
Really bad.
Yeah, you're not missing anything.
See, if it isn't sticking in my brain, I never played it. Never did it.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we've covered enough stuff. Chris told every game he's ever played, so that was something.
Next week.
Hey, give me more time than 8.5 minutes next time, motherfucker.
Never. Next week, I'm gonna implore everyone to look at zines because Zine Month is coming back, and
oh yeah,
I'm gonna have stuff that I'm gonna say about it. And
I don't know what a zine is.
Once again, push people to look at small games and unique stuff, and small creators doing stuff for Zine Month. So,
yep,
coming at you next week.
Yep, Chris, you can't read. Correct.
Yeah, I can't read. Damn it.